the United States, there was a lot of confusion and even disinformation about the relationship between Russia and Islamic State. And the reason why is because in the war in Syria, the United States was anti Assad, and Russia, regards Assad as an ally. And so, in terms of Islamic State, a lot of the commentary made it seem as if Russia was also pro ISIS, pro Islamic State. In fact, Michael Weiss, a very prominent, pundit who was on CNN, went so far as to say that Russia was Islamic State's air force. And so when Islamic State attacked Moscow this past week, there was a lot of confusion. Why would Islamic State attack Russia if Russia is Islamic State's air force, if they're allies? But of course, that information was bogus all along. And for many years throughout the Syrian war, I tried to be a corrective to the nature of that relationship. The truth is that Islamic State and Russia have been enemies since 2015. And in fact, Islamic State, when it was based in Iraq and mostly Syria, took down a Russian airline and has struck Russia multiple times. So this is one reason why Islamic State is anti-Russia, is because Russia has been anti-Islamic State, especially in the war in Syria. But Islamic State has other grievances as well. The two Chechen wars were extremely bloody. Russia responded to Chechen terrorism with a very heavy hand, destroying Grozny, creating all sorts of grievances there. Going back further, of course, Russia was a menace inside of Afghanistan. And so there are multiple historic grievances that Islamic State can draw upon in order to generate recruits, in this case, from Central Asia to attack inside of Russia. There are also a large number of people from Central Asia inside of Russia, and they face discrimination there. They might be poorer, and so this creates a larger pool of potential recruits to launch attacks inside of Russia. Central Asian fighters, particularly we're looking at Tajikistan, where apparently two of the suspects, two of those arrested, two of the four came from Tajikistan. But more broadly, Central Asia has provided many foreign fighters who fought in Syria, and they also fight inside of Afghanistan. Afghanistan is regarded as I don't know if we want to call it the home, but it was the originating country of Islamic State Khorasan Province, ISKP. And there have been many fighters from Central Asia who have entered into the fray in Afghanistan. And they have fought for multiple militant groups in Afghanistan, including the Afghan Taliban, the Pakistani Taliban, the TTP, and then some of those fighters split into ISK, Islamic State Khorasan Province. A number of the fighters from Central Asia have joined those ranks. And so ISK is really a regional group in terms of its recruitment. And frankly, its target selection goes beyond even the region, not just Afghanistan, not just Pakistan, not just Iran, but we're seeing in Russia, and we're seeing even foiled operations as far away as Europe. There's no question about it. I actually think that a lot of the discourse on ISK in particular isn't that helpful. I personally like to think of it as just Islamic State. This is IS, and IS is a global group. It is truly international. I mean, there have been recruiting efforts in India from ISK, as well as recruiting efforts in the UK of ISK. So it's not just the Khorasan province here. This is a international group. Its recruitment efforts are international. Its target selection is international. The actual credit claim of the attack in Russia was not from ISK. It was from IS, just IS broadly. It happened to be that the suspects were from Central Asia. But make no mistake, we are not looking at a purely regional threat here. We are looking at a truly international threat. I told another interviewer yesterday that the United States should be on alert for attacks inside the United States. We've seen European capitals in Germany, in Italy, in France, in Greece. They have either explicitly raised the terrorism threat level or said that, in the wake of this Moscow attack, they are very mindful of the Islamic State resurgence. So, yes, this is an international group, and I like to think of it as IS just broadly, not limited to any particular region. I think that there are many reasons to believe that the terrorism threat is particularly primed right now. It is not restricted to the Moscow attack. Last week, I've been saying that the terrorism threat is higher. One of the reasons why is because of the October 7th attack by Hamas, which killed almost 1,200 Israelis. In the immediate aftermath of that enormous attack, numerous Al Qaeda affiliates lavished praise on Hamas. Al Qaeda has been more active in terms of its threats. They've been more numerous, they've been more vocal, they've also been more specific about wanting to strike the United States and its interests around the world, particularly Jewish targets. There's been a mass mobilization in the United States on the weekends in capitals, a lot of people screaming and marching, and most of them are nonviolent. I understand that. But there is a segment which does worry me. They say that, resistance is justified. We've seen terrorist flags of Hamas, Hezbollah, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, which has historically had an international reach. We've seen the black jihadist flag being waved. That's particularly true in European capitals. So for all of these reasons, we're seeing, in my opinion, a heightened Islamist threat, which goes beyond the Palestinian movement. It includes or overlaps with, in some small but worrisome ways, with Al Qaeda and increasingly Islamic State. And so I believe that terrorism is something we need to really prioritize now, not just in the Khorasan region. India needs to prioritize it. European capitals need to prioritize it. America needs to prioritize it. And Russia really needs to prioritize it because there seems to be a particular focus on that country. I would not be surprised at all if we see another attack there relatively soon.